have shortness of breath. Some people have chest pain. The most common first sign that you have heart disease? Sudden death. You're totally fine. You went to the doctors. Everything was fine till you died. And that's the most common. Most commonly, people who die of heart disease, they don't even have a family history of heart disease. And half the people who die of heart disease have normal cholesterol levels. So you've seen your doctor, you have a normal EKG, you have a normal LDL cholesterol, you don't have a family history, you're fine, and you die. That's the majority of the people. So, if you feel that you're safe, think again. We'll talk about how you can make it even better. What about breast cancer? Breast cancer can be growing inside the breast 8 years before it's diagnosed on mammogram. Before it's found on mammogram, I should say. I had many patients who were totally healthy up until the day they were told they had cancer. But they weren't, so were they healthy during the time they were growing the cancer? So again, how do we define health? Since we're made of cells, and we want to be able to protect ourselves, health is the absence of disease, not the absence of any symptoms. And so we want to be free. We start out as a single cell, and we divide into 200 different cell types and trillions of cells throughout our body. And Dr. Wentz, the founder of Usana, what his specialty is how to grow cells. He grew cells in the laboratory, protecting them from damage, from disease, to be able to maintain themselves, to be able to repair themselves. And he thought, and I remember Dr. Wentz, when he was visiting me in Atlanta one day, I said, Dr. Wentz, when you created Usana, did you think that the doctors, such as myself and the other doctors that were in Usana, and all the people we've been hearing about, did you ever think we'd be seeing these results that we're seeing? He said, no, lad. I just knew what was right for the cell, how to protect the cell from damage, how to keep the nutrients in the cell so it can optimize the health. As far as the results that we're seeing, it's been just as much surprise to me as it's been to everybody else. And I said, my goodness, I want to play a bigger role in that. I want to get that message out to others. Because again, I was indignant that I hadn't been taught this in medical school, that I had this medical mythology that would get everything we need from our food. All vitamins are the same. Obviously they weren't. I had patients on supplements. The big difference with taking Usana. The difference is how do they get to the cells? How do they react to the cells? And we'll be talking about 3 main things about what make Usana and any supplement you take different from anything else. So if health begins at the cellular level, what causes disease? If you're healthy to begin with, why do we get disease? And Tom mentioned this earlier, and Dr. Wild in his video, and he says, talked about free radicals, found them everywhere. They are everywhere. They're in your body all the time, every second of every single day. Free radicals, just for the biochemists in the room, they actually steal electrons away from molecules. If you steal away an electron from a molecule, you change it. And here's a biology lesson. It'll be very quick and simple. What are molecules made of? When you know this. Atoms. Okay, and atoms are held, molecules are held together by their electronic charge. You know there's protons, electrons. Those electronic charges hold molecules together. And there are 3, and this is very key. This is the key to autoimmune diseases. This is the key to why people get type 2 diabetes. This is the key to why you get cancer. Molecules are held together in a 3-dimensional shape according to their electronic charge. Does that make sense? I mean, that's what holds it together. And if you steal away an electron, you change the electronic charge. You change the electronic charge, you change the 3-dimensional structure. And now it doesn't function like it should. It could be mutation in the DNA. It could be damage to the insulin receptors, leading to type 2 diabetes. It can be damage in the tissue, which the immune system now perceives as foreign and will attack it as an autoimmune disease. The immune system is totally normal. The tissue's been damaged, been changed. I hope that made sense to some of you. So it has to do with oxidation. Do you know what oxidation is? If you're made of metal, it's rust. You're not made of metal, but you oxidize. Take bananas from the store. They're green. You see bananas that are green. What color do they turn? Well, they go to yellow, then brown, and you get oxidized a little bit more. Black. That's oxidation. That's what happens to your cells and your tissues. But of course, we replenish it. So the problem is that we're exposed to oxidative damage, to free radicals, everywhere, constantly, from our environment. And they're generated inside our bodies every single second. So from radiation to UV light that damages our skin, not just the DNA, but damages the collagen, elastin fibers. Why do you think you go down to South Miami? You see a lot of oxidative damage in the skin, wrinkling, and the leathery skin. That's oxidative damage, a lot of lung cancer. And then metabolism or inflammation, any type of inflammatory disease lead to damage. And the best example I can ever give to help you understand what oxidation is cigarette smoking. I'm not here to judge anybody that smokes cigarettes, but if you know that if you smoke a half a pack of cigarettes a day for 50 years, it's going to increase your risk for disease, correct? Yes. If you smoke 2 packs a day for 40 years, 3 packs, 4 packs. What if you smoked 5 packs of cigarettes a day? Do you feel the reaction? Do you know that? Did you know back in the past, a generation or 2 ago, that people didn't have any reaction to that? But now you go, wow, that would really damage your health. Where does cigarette smoking affect? Where does it hurt you? I mean, why does it hurt you? It creates a lot of free radicals that go permeate your body. And so what does it cause? What does it lead to? Lung cancer? And I'm sorry to hear that Lori's mom passed away, and certainly this brings it to light, very much so, because it is very painful. I lost a sister at age 50 to diabetes. 50. Did not need to happen. Some things just don't need to be. And so the story is, if we can make a difference because of the experiences we've had, then that's how we can do that. Prostate cancer, cervical cancer. Did you know cigarette smoking can lead to that? What, heart disease, you knew that? Stroke. Did you know cigarette smoking can increase the risk of diabetes and arthritis? How about this? Wrinkling. Did you know cigarette smoking accelerates aging? Did you know it takes years off your life? Does everybody know that? And you think, wow. Have you ever heard people say, if you're doing Usana, they say, well, Usana, how can that one thing do all this? How can it help people with so many issues? Have you ever had anybody ask you that? Well, it's the opposite of smoking. If smoking is oxidation, you have Usana, which is antioxidants. You take everything that smoking does and you flip it. If you know that more oxidation can accelerate aging and cause wrinkling, what can less oxidation do? If you know that, do you see what I'm saying? Just take whatever smoking does and flip it. It's just as simple as that. It's biochemistry. So I'm not here to tell you that Usana prevents, treats, cures, or diagnoses any disease, but I'm saying it can help us maintain heart health. And if you have heart health, you don't have heart disease, of course. Well, antioxidants is the key. Vitamins and minerals. And how does it work? If the free radicals steal electrons, this blocks the free radicals by donating electrons. And so therefore, if you're taking them in the morning, they're donating electrons, 8 to 12 hours later, they're used up. And then you need to replenish them at dinner time so that you're covered throughout the whole day. That's why you take them twice a day. So, since most of you will die of heart disease, let's talk about how you're going to die. So, no, actually 1 out of 2, both men and women, die of heart disease. And I don't mean to make light of it, because I know many of you lost a loved one to heart disease, or suffering with heart disease at this moment. So let's talk about the risk factors for heart disease. Age is the #1 risk factor. Why would that be? Why?
The older, the more
You've been exposed to oxidation more. You've been left out in the rain, like the Tin Man. You're rusted. Your arteries are rusted. A low HDL cholesterol. Cigarette smoking increases the risk of heart disease. Why?
Lung.
Because it increases oxidation. That's correct. Okay. Diabetes. Why would diabetes increase the risk for heart disease and stroke? Same reason, oxidation. When you have blood sugar levels come elevated, it oxidizes your arteries. It damages your arteries. It oxidizes the cholesterol, the LDL cholesterol. It damages the insulin receptors rapidly. One of the worst things that can happen is the high blood sugar levels. Nutritional deficiencies, it's the oxidized LDL cholesterol that leads to heart disease. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more. Elevated homocysteine levels. That's been known for well over 60 years that homocysteine is a greater risk factor for heart disease than your cholesterol ratios have ever been. You had your cholesterol levels checked? Anybody had their cholesterol levels checked? HDL, LDL? How many people have had their homocysteine levels checked? Homocysteine? 1, 2, 3, 4. How many people have never heard of homocysteine? Yeah, that's the most commonly. And you didn't know why you haven't heard of homocysteine? Because it's not a drug to treat it. But it's a greater risk factor. But there's no drug. So sorry, don't need to worry about it. Homocysteine is a big issue. Homocysteine it acts like burrs, nicking up your arteries. It flows through, and the higher your homocysteine level, the more burrs you have, the greater it nicks up your arteries. As you get older, you have higher levels of homocysteine. As you have smoke, you get higher levels of homocysteine. And diabetes increases more homocysteine. And then what happens after these nicks come here, the LDL cholesterol sticks in the nicks. It can't get underneath the lining if it doesn't nick it up. Like rice paper. Rice paper is very thin. You ever try to walk on rice paper without tearing it? That's what's happening. You're tearing up the lining there. And the oxidized LDL cholesterol get under there. And I said that one word there that made the whole difference. LDL cholesterol will not get under there and form plaque unless it's oxidized. That's key. That makes all the difference in the world. So, what can we do about homocysteine? There's no drug to treat it. What do? It's elevated.
Vitamin B3.
Yeah, B vitamins. The medical studies show that is how it works. So homocysteine nicks up the arteries. The oxidized LDL cholesterol gets underneath there. Calcification, inflammation. Inflammation, C-reactive protein, CRP, goes up because of that. The medical studies show that the B complex vitamins help maintain a healthy homocysteine level. And a good level is less than 6.5. Anything less than 7 would be okay. A lot of people are coming back with homocysteine levels at 9.5. Their doctor says, oh, that's normal. You're fine. Because the lab slip says anything less than 15 is normal. Well, the medical studies show that every 3 points above 6.5, there's a 35% increased risk of heart disease. But since people normally die of heart disease, you're normal. But I would suggest you don't want to be normal, you want to be healthy. That was my point. So, and then also homocysteine, high levels are associated with stroke and kidney disease as well. Well, this is interesting. So what elevates homocysteine? Age, diabetes, cigarette smoking, chronic diseases, illness. Every single thing that raises the risk for heart disease elevates homocysteine. Coincidence? I don't think so. Could be homocysteine is the mechanism by which it does. So here you have HDL cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. Which one's the good one? HDL. Which one's the bad one? LDL cholesterol. We've been told all the time that LDL is the lousy LDL cholesterol. It's so lousy, we should just get rid of it. We should make drugs that will just lower the LDL cholesterol and just eliminate it from your body. So why do we have LDL cholesterol? What good is it? Well, LDL cholesterol is absolutely good. It's only bad when it's oxidized. So if we look at cholesterol, we need cholesterol. We need it in our brains to function. That's what makes up most of our brain, is cholesterol. You need cholesterol to make hormones. Without the hormones, you'd be dead in a day. All the hormones in your body, in your brain and throughout your body. Cholesterol is made as a repair process. Cholesterol is needed everywhere. So cholesterol, you get some in your food, but your liver makes most of the cholesterol. But the liver, but your cells need it. So it's got to get from your liver to your cells. In order to do that, it travels through the bloodstream. But the thing about cholesterol is it's not soluble. In other words, it can't go through the bloodstream by itself. It will precipitate out. So it has to be carried. So that the body makes a molecule that will carry the LDL cholesterol, much like a mail truck delivering the mail, and take the cholesterol and deliver it to the cells. That molecule is called LDL, low-density lipoprotein. It attaches to the cholesterol, and it carries it from the liver to the cells where it's needed. Does that sound like a good thing? So why are we saying lousy LDL when it's really good? And then if you have too much cholesterol there, the HDL will pick up, like a garbage truck, will pick up the excess and take it back to the liver for processing. Great system. It's a perfect system. But the problem occurs. It's when it gets oxidized. That's the problem. That is the #1 cause of death right there. If you understand that this is the #1 cause of death, or why you're losing family members, that leads to atherosclerosis, stroke, heart attack, then maybe we can make a difference in the world. And that's what we're talking about. So how do we deal with that to prevent it from happening? Here's something. Have you had your LDL cholesterol level checked? I saw a lot of hands go up. So what's your LDL level? So, okay, well this chart shows you the relationship between LDL cholesterol and heart disease. If you look at this, you can see that if you're, this is not total cholesterol, this is just the LDL portion. If your LDL level's 17 to 108, 44% of those people, those patients who have those levels of LDL have heart disease. 44%. That's nearly half. So you're thinking, I have a low LDL level, I must be okay. Well, not that much. So from 109 to 128, you have it's slightly, just a little bit elevated. Almost half of those people, 49%, have heart disease. And they're still normal range. Oh, but then you get into a little higher levels, 129 to 146, 46% of those patients. So we better take some statin drugs to lower down so our cholesterol, so our risk factors will go, wait, it didn't go down at all. Oh, and so you can see there's a little bit of thing. What this is showing you, and I hope that you get it, is this is not a good predictor. LDL cholesterol level is not a good predictor of your risk for heart disease. But yet you're told this all the time. You see commercials all the time. You see the doctors trying to prescribe you statin drugs all the time to lower your statin drugs down to normal levels, where at least half the people die. Show you something else. Here's the thing, the chart that will make the difference. This is the relationship between oxidized LDL and heart disease. This is what you call linear. If you have a low level of oxidized LDL cholesterol, a low percentage of risk of heart disease. You have a high oxidized LDL level, above 80 to 150 or so, 93% risk of heart disease. Do you see the huge difference? So every time you lower that, you dramatically reduce your risk of heart disease. Why are we testing for oxidized LDL? It can't be tested for. Why aren't we? Do you know the answer to that? How do you get rid of oxidized LDL? Antioxidants! But statin drugs, that's what's needed. You need statin drugs. Prescribe that statin drug because we'll lower your LDL cholesterol. And did you know this is the biggest secret? Is that the statin drugs were accidentally found to help reduce the risk of heart disease. Because what do? They lower your LDL. But that's not the mechanism by which they help reduce the risk of heart disease. The mechanism is that they slightly reduce your oxidized LDL. And they know that. And the studies are out there. Slightly. It's that mechanism by which they work. They do lower your LDL, but that's not how they reduce the risk of death. And they have a slightly reduced risk. I hope you got that. If you didn't get that, we're moving on. Train's pulling out of station, so we're going. So here's the thing. Homocysteine and oxidized LDL cholesterol, and then all these an inflammatory process, which causes your C-reactive protein to elevate. And this all can be tested for, and you can know what your risk is. But you haven't been offered it. Most of your doctors don't know about it. That's why I created that one audio CD called Oxidized LDL Cholesterol. What your doctors may not know yet. I just go into detail about that, so you can kind of get that message there. And I've written the book, The Cholesterol Conspiracy, about it. And then you can go to cholesterolconspiracy.com, and you can see all my medical references there, and listen to some podcasts, free, because I want to get this message out, because this is life-saving. Some of the tests I suggest, I know you can get these tests everywhere. You can get these total cholesterol, triglycerides, your blood fat, you can even ask your doctor for homocysteine level. You can get a vitamin D level and C-reactive protein level, but you will not find the oxidized LDL tests. And the most predictive test, you might want to write this down, the most predictive blood test for heart disease is your oxidized LDL to HDL cholesterol ratio. And I talk about that on my audio CD. And you get it tested for. You get your blood drawn, send it in. If you contact Molly Feeney at att.net, they'll send it down to California there, because it took me a year to get this lab to finally agree to do this. And they have a special prize for people involved in Usana or friends of Usana. So we'll do that, if you want to have a blood test. Then you'll see some things. Later on today, I'll show you some results of some real people. We have people who didn't take Usana, some people take Usana, some people take Usana but not living a good lifestyle, because you can't take supplements and expect that to protect you from being overweight or not inactivity. And when you start seeing things in black and white, you make differences, either in supplementation or lifestyle. I saw that and said, oh my goodness, I take a lot of supplements, but I need to drop some weight. I need to get more active. So I started moving on that. Well, here's another one. Why vitamin D? Vitamin D doesn't know it helps maintain heart health, but vitamin D, you can check this. I know this is a big chart and all, but let's go through it here because I think it's important. Across the top, that's your vitamin D blood level. So this goes up to 68 of vitamin D. Down here is rickets. It shows here if your vitamin D level is around 20, you have a 99% associated decreased risk of rickets. If your level is around 7, you have about a 50-50 chance of rickets. So I want you to kind of understand how this chart works. Most people are testing, if you're not taking any supplements, are testing around 20 at best. And if you take supplements, most general supplements will get you up to about 30 at best. But look at where these the red line up here, this is all cancers combined. In other words, you need to get well above 50 before you start making a difference in cancers, breast cancers, fractures, multiple sclerosis, and all these other situations. So the studies show that a healthy level of vitamin D would be at least around 75, even up to 100. And some people say, well, can't you get too much vitamin D? Well, I guess you could. But there's been absolutely no problems or complications shown with anybody taking up to 10,000 international units per day. I take 12. Some people take more. Yeah. So, how much vitamin D do you need to take? Does anybody know?
75.
Whatever dose will get you up near 75 to 100. And you will only know that if you get your blood tested. Then you know what to adjust your dose to. That's it. Most people, I'll tell you, will need between 4,000 and 8,000 international units per day. But you won't know what your level is. So if it's and the thing is, if you go well above 100, 110, 120, 130, some people, very few people, get a little atrial fibrillation, irregular heartbeat. You know how they correct that? They back down the dose. There's your risk. You back down the dose. You're fine. So keep the level about between 50 and 100, 75 being that sweet spot. I keep mine right around 90 by taking 12,000 international units per day. So just about that you don't want to know. Oh, we got something here for Dr. Wild has an interjection because we talk about heart health. You've heard of fish oil for your heart. I haven't seen this video, so I'll be interested to see what Dr. Wild here has to say.
You know, I really am looking for a really high quality fish oil, and I understand there's a great one here that it doesn't have that after thing, and it really works, and it's triple distilled or something. What do you recommend for a fish oil so that you get that good oil and good omega-3 oil? What do you recommend, Dr. Warren?
She's really missing out because I found high quality fish oil. Well, for example, let's say you go to one of your local stores that carries fish and get 2 fish about this big, put one under each arm. Fish oil, there you go. You got fish oil. And guess what? If you take those capsules, get the ones that give you that nice, the one with the taste lingers on. I like that. You know that?
Not the underarm thing, no.
Okay. Well, good advice with that. Fish oil, omega-3 fatty acids, includes the EPA and DHA. Your brain, again, is mostly made of this type of fats. You want the good fats in your head. You don't want the bacon lard sticking in your head. It's hard to think with that. So it helps with heart health. It helps maintain healthy cholesterol, healthy LDL, healthy HDL cholesterol. As a matter of fact, blood fats, triglycerides, if you have high triglycerides, help make good triglycerides, more fish oil. Sounds kind of paradoxical. To help with blood fats, lots of fish oil. 4, 6, 8 a day. If you have some brain issues going on in there, what kind of brain issues could you have?
Memory.
Depression? That hurts? Dementia? Absolutely. That I'm not saying it treats it, I'm saying it helps maintain good brain health. So joint health. Did you know that fish oil helps maintain joint health? What happens to the joints? Obviously, arthritis can be a problem with. Breast health. If you have breast health, you don't have. Yeah, can I say it more clearly? I'd like to. But the point is that it helps maintain prostate health. So brain and nerves, very important. And pregnancy, critical during pregnancy to get the fish oil. During pregnancy, to my pregnant patients, I gave the Usana Essentials, the mega antioxidants, chelated minerals, as the best prenatal vitamins anyone could ever take. Along with the fish oil, at least 2, if not 4 a day. Because it helps with the baby's IQ and the development, the brain development, the eye development. And for that child's health, and if that child is a female, it would help her child's baby. So the nutritional status during the pregnancy can affect the grandchild. And pregnancy is a time when you need better supplementation, not less. Because what can happen during pregnancy? There's pregnancy-induced hypertension, gestational diabetes. There's preterm labors, all sorts of issues, which show that supplementation can make a difference. I have a CD on pregnancy and supplementation. That's why I talked about that. As a matter of fact, omega-3 fatty acids is so important. So I have there's just a 30-second documentary on getting your omega-3 fatty acids.
To top up your omega-3 DHA, you could lead the life of the Inuit Eskimo. Their omega-3 rich diet has contributed towards their healthy lives.
Fish. A little bit safer just taking your supplements. Well, what else also helps maintain heart health, we've heard? What else helps maintain heart health? Has the doctor told you anything? Well, actually, I'm talking about supplementation. CoQ10, it does. Absolutely. Heard of vitamin E? Have you heard of vitamin E? That's kind of a silly question, isn't it? Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin. It gets into the cholesterol, the fat, and impregnates itself into the cholesterol. And it rides along with it and protects it from oxidative damage. And then as vitamin E wears out its electrons, it's replenished by vitamin C and grapeseed extract, which helps it work synergistically together. But you've also probably heard that vitamin E can kill you. Have you heard of that? Every single study, you can call it that, report that said that vitamin E could hurt you, that was biased. And most of them put together by people from the pharmaceutical industry, paying these people, supported by it. Most of those have been. And they pick and choose which test they want, and they don't even show a correlation between vitamin E and somebody's death. There's no, in other words, they could have had some other heart disease, they could have had cancer, but as long as they took vitamin E and they died, there you go. I mean, that's how they worked it. But also, this is the key, is that how is the vitamin E delivered? That's a huge difference, because there is some information on this. But this is the largest study ever conducted with vitamin E. There's over 29,000 men followed for 19 years, including 13,000 deaths. So this is a good statistics. It showed that men with the highest blood levels of vitamin E had the lowest incidence of overall death and cancers. Not only had better heart health, but look at this. Reductions of death from those diseases. And the researchers concluded this, that the reduction of death was due to the protection of the fats, including LDL from oxidation. I didn't write that. That was in the research abstract. The enhancement of the immune system, the modulation, how it affects the DNA, and it suppresses the tumors, the cancers. That's huge. And this is what they found out. Those men who had the best levels of it, they had higher levels of gamma tocopherol. Now, tocopherol is a big word that just means vitamin E. There are different types of vitamin E. Well, most supplements will provide you the D and the L form of alpha tocopherol. There's two different isomers. Isomers means they're molecules, but they're mirror images of each other. Like your hands, they're mirror images of each other. You have a left and a right hand. If you tried to put a right-handed glove on your left hand, it won't fit. It looks like it, has 5 fingers, it's supposed to be a glove, but it just doesn't fit. And if it doesn't fit, and then your left hand, obviously, it matters which direction it is. Synthetic ones, which come from petroleum tar distillates, come with the D and the L form. Your body doesn't recognize the L form. It only recognizes the D form. That's what we call bioavailable. Now, here's the biggest thing, is even if you just get only the alpha tocopherol, it will deplete your body of the gamma tocopherol. Your gamma tocopherol, which is what the study has shown, is what truly helps protect from oxidation of the LDL cholesterol, and it protects the DNA from damage, from mutations, from cancers. That's what the studies show. That the gamma does that. And if you take only alpha, it depletes your gamma. Do you get it? So if you just take it only a synthetic type, you could be harming yourself. That's why you want to choose a supplement that has the D-alpha and the gamma tocopherols. That makes the difference. But most people don't know that, so what the heck? We'll give them the cheap stuff because people like to buy cheap stuff. And all vitamins are the same, right? You don't know the difference, so just give them the cheap stuff. That's how you treat it. Dr. Wentz, the founder, you saw the nose, that's different. That's the bioavailable. And then how much vitamin E should you be getting? The RDA says 15 to 30 international units. Oh, okay, so I'm getting my RDA, getting everything I need. The medical studies show that you need at least 400, if not 800 IUs every day to help maintain heart health. Well, can you get that from your food?
No.
You could. If you could eat 29 pounds of spinach every day, you get 400 IUs of vitamin E, the natural form of it, or 4.5 pounds of wheat germ. You can do that if you can eat that much, but you can't. So you have to supplement if you want to be able to get that much. We need supplementation. And here's the things. There's 3 key things for any minerals. For minerals or any other supplements to get into your system, you need to have 3 things that must be qualified. 1, it must be able to dissolve in your stomach. I had a patient who came up from, this is when I was practicing in Atlanta. She came up from Florida, and she brought me this x-ray. She said, Dr. McNamara, before I started taking Usana, I want to show you this x-ray, this abdominal x-ray of mine that shows my supplement. I said, oh, that'd be interesting. Let's look at it. We put it on the light box. And there we could see her supplement, not the Usana, but the one she was taking before that, and had already passed through her stomach, went through her small intestines, and went into her large intestines, and then it was all the way into her sigmoid colon. Intact. If it doesn't dissolve, it's not going to do any good. So it has to be dissolved. And Usana designs it to be able to dissolve within 10 to 15 minutes the time it hits your stomach. 10 to 15 minutes. Then it has to be absorbed. That makes a difference, because if you can dissolve things all day long, but if it's not absorbed, then what's the difference? What good is it going to do if it can't get across the intestine? And absorb only means it gets into your blood. That's absorbed. And absorption takes place in your small intestine. Usana is designed to be absorbed in the small intestine, to optimize the absorbability of it. And here's the third and most important thing, the left-handed glove on the right-hand type of thing. It has to be bioavailable. The cells have to recognize it. Okay? Because what happens is that if you can get into your bloodstream and your cells go, what's this stuff? We can't use it. That's what's happening with the synthetic tocopherols, the L-alpha tocopherol. Some zinc and some selenium are that way. But the good stuff costs a little bit more. The cheap stuff, anybody can get that. And then you can just put whatever you want on the bottle, and you don't know what you're getting. Nobody really cares. As long as you feel like you're taking Central once a month. I'm not trying to put down any company, but I'm saying is if you don't really care, then you'll buy stuff that may not matter. After all, I'll ask you, why are you taking supplements? And I'll ask people that. That's a good question to ask. Do you take supplements? Tom asked that question in the beginning with the Tom walking. Do you take supplements? Here's a good follow-up question. What's the number 1 reason you are or are not taking supplements? If you ask them if they're taking supplements and they say yes, and you ask what's the number 1 reason, what's the only reason they could have? Yeah, for their health. It has to be health related. Oh, I want to waste money. Oh, I think it's fun. Oh, it tastes good. No, it can only be I'm taking it for my health. Then here's the follow-up question to that. How do you know then that what you're taking is truly having the benefits for what you're taking? How do you know? Well, because it's cheap. Well, that's not an answer. It's not an answer. This is the things that must be maintained. All right, anybody recognize this? Biology students? Graduates? Villi, very good. You get extra points. The villi. It's in part of the small intestines. Why do we have villi? Very good. Increases the surface area. When you spread out the villi, you have the size of a tennis court. Absorbability. Right. It's huge absorbability. So for minerals to get into our system, they have to go from the soil to the plants. The plants and they have to get into our get absorbed. But minerals can't get absorbed in their salt form. They have to be chelated. You have enzymes in your stomach that will take these minerals and attach them to organic molecules for absorption. But Usana produces the products that are already chelated, so absorption can be optimized in your small intestine. So therefore, if the mineral is attached to an amino acid, for example, the amino acid will be actively absorbed, and along with it, the mineral will come along for the ride. That's what Usana does. So chelated means attached. Most people go to the store, Costco, Tom mentioned Costco, go to Walmart, go to any of the GNC, and you see aisles of stuff. Most people are buying by price. Not even caring what's in it, how much is in it, is it truly in there? Is it in a form that's absorbable? Is it a form that's bioavailable? Does it even dissolve? I don't care, as long as I'm buying something and feel good about myself. That's not how we want to do something. The studies from Yale and Hospital in Connecticut showed that most brands don't have the right range and ratios of supplements. That's why Usana is built on scientific principles. Dr. Byron Wentz is the founder of Usana. His specialty is being able to grow cells in the laboratory, billions of human cells in the laboratory, because he's the doctor that invented the test kits for Epstein-Barr virus and mononucleosis. He got the patent on that. And part of the test kits, you have to have human cells in it for it to work. His test kits set the gold standard for test kits for viral diagnostic testing. So he knew what balances and ratios needed. And because he lost a couple family members to chronic diseases, he thought, well, we should be supplementing, and he thought he should supplement. So he wanted to find out which company was producing products that were correct, that had the right range and balances. And he found that nobody was creating it. It wasn't then he decided, you know what, I'll create Usana since nobody's doing it. He decided, well, I'll go ahead and I'll just put this together for myself, for my family. And I'll take it. And then somebody said to them, Dr. Wentz, you should create a company. He said, why? He says, because you can sell this and make a lot of money. He said, I already have a lot of money. He had the patent on these test kits. He already had hundreds of millions of dollars. He said, I don't need money. And then he said, lad, and somebody told me, and then he said to me, he said, if you created this, which nobody else has done, you could change the health of the world. And with that, he said that's when he knew that's what his purpose for being on this earth was, to change the health of the world. And I know Dr. Wentz personally, I know that's what he's dedicated to. And everything he does is with that in mind, to be able to change the health of the world. So he's creating Usana, essentials for adults, for teenagers, for children, the Bio-Omega, the fish oil, all of it properly balanced. Did you know I had patients come into my office with 40 or 50 bottles and all spread out on my desk and said, well, what do you think of this? I said, well, you can be replaced. It would take about 45 or more bottles to duplicate what's in those 2 bottles, and it would cost you about 4 times as much money. So you're getting a better value with this, and better health, which is the most important thing. If you look at the Comparative Guide to Nutritional Supplements, Lon McWilliam, a former member of the Canadian Parliament, from British Columbia, he was commissioned by the Canadian Parliament to look at different supplements. And he wanted to be able to evaluate, have a way to evaluate supplements. So he took what the top of the leading experts in the field said should be in the supplement, and he compared it according to their completeness, absorbability, potency, purity, and safety. I call it CAPS, C-A-P-P-S, completeness, absorbability, potency, purity, and safety. And he rated them and ranked them. And in this book, over 1,500 supplements are ranked. There are 4 companies that come out the top, but only one that comes out the top and best, highest rated in the world. That happens to be Usana. It's the highest rated one in the world. And if you're at Consumer Labs actually break down and they analyze what's in that supplement to see what's in there. And Consumer Labs has found that everything they've analyzed from Usana has truly been in there, 100%. That's what it says in the bottle. And that's why Consumer Labs, that's why from Usana has received the highest rated customer satisfaction out of any supplement sold over the counter and any other way. The top rated. We have optimizers that we use in addition to it. The one I used a lot, the first one we had was the optimizer. Optimizer was the grapeseed extract called proflavanol. So on my audio CD called The Power of Cellular Nutrition out there, I talk mostly about the results I saw when people getting down the essentials and the grapeseed extract. Because that's the experience that I had in my practice. The rest of the products came out much later. And we're seeing some tremendous results. But that grapeseed extract is incredible. This is what we get to do now. We can personalize your needs, either from blood tests or what's going on with you. You can find out what's happening, and the personalization's going to even increase as we go into our 20th anniversary convention in August. To know, and my son that runs track, he's in his senior year. You know, he says, Dad, I need him on the supplements, the good supplements, instead of just on the health pack. He's a senior in high school. So I make him up a customized health pack, and I call it David's Go Fast Pack. This is a track, and he goes faster on it. So there's 7 personal records on it. My other son, he's recovering from a sports injury, so I just took what he, just took what he needed in there. I call it Michael's Recovery Pack. But it's the same thing for his sports training pack. So the products work. They work. And it doesn't require your belief. So what determines your health? 20% of your health is determined by genetics. 80%. You have the choice. You can make the decision to do the reset scramble, 2-week reset scramble, which we'll talk about later today. You have the choice to smoke or not smoke. You have the choice to sleep or not sleep. Eat well, take supplements. Which supplements? You have the choice to be married to who you're married to and be stressed out. Being married, I mean, sometimes it can be beneficial, sometimes it can be a problem. But the point is, it makes a difference. The question I have for you, has your doctor told you about supplements?
No.
Which supplements to be on, how much to be on, which ones to take, and why you should take them? No. It's not the conventional wisdom. The conventional wisdom has not always been correct. According to doctors at the University of Paris, the plague was caused by a triple conjunction of Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars in the 40th degree of Aquarius. According to the medical experts in 1348 AD. It's one of those true but unrelated answers on your exam. Another expert opinion, I think there may be a world market for no more than 5 computers. Said by Thomas Watson, chairman of IBM. Some of you have more than 5 computers at home, but this obviously didn't turn out to be true. Bill Gates, 64K ought to be enough memory for anybody. Some of you young ones don't even know what 64K was. Jimmy Hoffa, bodyguard. I don't need a bodyguard. I was going to turn out to be true. Here's this. You don't need supplements because you get everything you need from your food. Heard that from a doctor?
Yeah.
No.
And if you were my patient more than 17 years ago, you would have heard me say that. I remember telling my patient that. She said, well, I really want to take something, Dr. Mattler. I said, just go to the store and get any cheap junk, because they're all the same. Where did I learn that? I don't know, same place you did. I wanted to sound like I knew something. Didn't want to sound stupid. Guess what? I was. I didn't know. But actually, this could be true. It depends on how you define need. Need to do what? If you define need as 100% recommended dietary allowance, RDA, remember, I didn't even know what the RDAs were. I thought those were the top level. Don't go above it. Remember, 2,000% above the US RDA. Oh my goodness, they're going to kill somebody. Remember? Well, what's the RDA? I know that some of you have seen this presentation. So I'd ask you not to answer this next question, because I know you know. And I know others people probably know you know. But I want to leave it for the people who have not seen this presentation, please. If we look at the RDA levels, something simple. I remember when I was a kid, we didn't have candy in the house. So I go around and I take vitamin C because it kind of was like a sweet tart. It was like 500 milligram tablets or something like that. What do you suppose the levels, the RDA level for vitamin C is? Just, I don't care if you're right or wrong.
5?
What?
500?
500 is a good guess.
60?
1,000 is a very good guess. I heard it correctly. It is 60 milligrams.
60, very good.
That's what I said. I didn't know. I was a doctor telling people, oh my goodness, this is too much. 60 milligrams. But how did we get to 60 milligrams? That's the amount of vitamin C found in one orange, lemon, or lime. So why was it set that way? Because they took a bunch of prisoners in the 1920s. After Dr. Albert Sven-Georgi, mouthful there, discovered vitamin C, they wanted to see what it did. So to some prisoners, so they took a bunch of prisoners, and some they gave no vitamin C, to others they gave a little bit more, to others they gave a little more. And they found the prisoners who got 60 milligrams or more per day did not get the disease scurvy. That's it. So RDA levels were set at 60, not as the optimal, not as the maximum, but as the minimum levels to what? Not go below. Don't go below that. That's what it was about. Vitamin A, night blindness. Vitamin C, beriberi. I mean, B1, beriberi. Vitamin D, rickets. Well, the British sailors used to sail around the world, and they used to take extra crew with them because they lose about half of their crew to scurvy. They didn't know why they were losing them to scurvy, but they just knew they were losing. They lost half the crew on long voyages. So Captain Cook goes out down to the Sandwich Islands, now called Hawaii, down to the South Pacific, goes down, comes back to England. Nobody lost. It was a miracle. They couldn't believe this. What had he done differently? Certainly something was different. He said, well, the only thing we did on this voyage is we had some fruit, some oranges and some lemons and some limes. And so they had those. And they said, well, I guess that's working. They didn't know why. They didn't understand vitamin C. They just knew it was working. So the royal edict came that every British sailor, while at sea, had to eat a lime every day. So they come into port smelling like limes. So they got, you know, the nickname Limeys. Remember that? All right. So that avoid the screen. Alright. How many people here with family members with scurvy or rickets? One. What? Who has rickets?
I'm sorry?
Who has rickets?
My mom,
Your mom.
as a child.
As a child. How many here has had family members with rickets in the last 40 years? Okay. Guess what? The RDA levels are doing their job, and you are getting everything you need from your food. I've just proved it. You're getting everything you need. I don't see many hands going up for scurvy and rickets. Night blindness, there might be a little bit here and there. You're getting everything you need. So next time you hear you're getting everything you need from your food, just remember, it's the RDA levels. And they're talking about this classical nutrient deficiency diseases. But, how many people here with family members or themselves dealing with heart disease or stroke? Raise your hand, please, and keep them up. How many people here with family members with cancer? Living or dead? If you need 2 hands, put up 2. What about diabetes? Put up the foot. Okay, thanks. I have just shown you, if you're talking about these chronic diseases, we are not, by definition, getting everything we need from our food. Because the studies show if you take levels well above the RDA, you can help maintain heart health, cardiovascular health. You can help maintain, and look as I pointed to the word cancer, immunological health. Why would I say immunological health and point to cancer? The immune system. Every single day you have cancer cells arise. The immune system has to be intact to get those. So that's why we're talking about optimal supplementation to maintain your health. Diabetes, how do you get type 2 diabetes? If you wanted to get type 2 diabetes, how do you get it? What's the formula? Eat a lot of sugar, right? Get a sugar rush. Gain weight, don't exercise. How does that cause type 2 diabetes? How does that do it? What? Insulin spikes up. How does that cause it?
Sugar.
So you have a lot of insulin. With type 2 diabetes, do you have insulin? No. Yeah, type 1 you don't. Type 2 you have insulin. Okay, so what's wrong here? The insulin receptors are oxidized. They're not working. It's like trying to put a key into a rusted lock. You ever done that? Won't quite go in? Your insulin receptors are oxidized. Spiking sugars up, yes. Spiking sugars up, oxidize it. Well, guess what? If you can prevent your insulin receptors from being oxidized, your cells will make new insulin receptors that are now protected. And you become insulin sensitive again. Did you know that? I've seen it. I've seen it happen in 6 weeks. I've seen it happen in 6 months. I've seen it happen over 2 years. Average is about 6 to 9 months. I've seen them. People who are insulin dependent, their doctors, work with their doctors to get off their insulin and now have normal blood levels. I've seen it happen. And I was giving this talk to a group of doctors and registered dietitians in Las Vegas, and one woman says, she says, "You can't cure diabetes." She was so angry, she was red in the face. I said, "Call it what you want," because she has normal blood sugar levels. You can cure it. So then go back and keep doing what you're doing. You know, but I'm going to continue to make a difference in people's lives. I'm not calling it a cure, I'm just saying we're maintaining glycemic health. Here's the top cancers in men and women. If you don't smoke, take lung cancer off the list. That's the cancers. So how do you prevent? Oh, we've got another one here. All right, here we go. It's a surprise to me too. So let's see.
I want to say this about vitamin D. Now listen closely. In Washington State, we don't need any vitamin D because we have a week of sunshine a year. So the better way is to get it through magic.
Magic. That's right. Cancer develops with damage to the DNA, right? The damage to the DNA, you create a mutation. Mutation to the DNA. Then the tumor needs food, it needs nutrients, it needs oxygen to grow. So angiogenesis, the creation, genesis of angio, or blood vessels, then the tumor will grow. And then it metastasizes. Those are the three main steps. It can be broken down into 10 steps. But did you know there are some supplements like vitamin E, grapeseed extract, turmeric extract, also known as curcumin, that all, and as well as olive extract, that all work together to, at every single stage of cancer development and block it. It blocks every stage. All these stages are blocked. And it doesn't mean this cures, but it blocks all these stages. So that's how it helps maintain immunological health. So let's look at, I want to tell you 4 supplements, antioxidants. Then I'm going to tell you stories about my patients and be done. Okay? So let's just bear with these four major antioxidants here. The turmeric extract, also known as curcumin. Grapeseed extract, olive extract, coenzyme Q10. Do that, then I'll tell you the best part of this whole part is what I saw among people. Among 3 people I want to highlight, and then I'll be done. So here it is. The turmeric extract, also known as curcumin, is a powerful antioxidant. It's found in our mega antioxidants. It's found in our
Indian cuisine.
where?
Indian cuisine.
Yeah, yes, it's in Indian cuisine, the curry. Yeah. Did you know in India, prostate cancer is 10% that with the United States? They saw that's because of the curry that they eat. They get turmeric. But so what I'm saying is that it helps protect cells. It's also, so it's in our procosa. Why would it be in our procosa? Why the joint health? What happens with the joints? Arthritis, and you get pain, right? The pain comes, it's a COX-2 inhibitor. And the inflammation. And then also, it inhibits those cell cycle problems, those damages that lead to cancer. Not saying it's a cure or treatment. And anything we have to say today, nobody should take what I have to say today and then change their medical program without talking to the doctor. If you're going to do anything, you need to talk to your doctor. Do not change your medications without talking to your doctor. So don't take anything I say today with that, please. I want you to make sure that you understand that. Grapeseed extract. You've heard that people who drink a glass of wine every day have a lower incidence of heart disease. The French paradox, they call it. The French eat higher fatty foods that have a lower incidence of heart disease than the United States. Most because they drink a glass of red wine every day. Did you know we have, in the health pack, we have an AO booster, antioxidant booster. This antioxidant booster has enough resveratrol, which would be equivalent to a daily dose of 30 glasses of wine. In that, the benefits of it. And that's not even as much as the grapeseed extract. The grapeseed extract is powerful as well. Just as powerful, if not more. It helps protect cholesterol from oxidative damage. Remember what we talked about, the oxidized LDL? That's the number one thing that's causing death in this world, in the first world anyway. It helps maintain triglycerides, it helps skin, collagen, arteries. It crosses the blood-brain barrier. As you age, your brain shrivels. Even if you don't have Alzheimer's, you get dementia, you start forgetting things. Grapeseed extract helps maintain off of the brain. Oh, and what about this? Antibacterial, antiviral, anti-inflammatory. It's also, when I put together the Procosa and the Proflavanol, for people with arthritis issues, oh my goodness, they notice results quickly. Not only do they notice the results quickly, but it doesn't mask the pain. It helps them heal the tissues. That's what we want. And then it helps cancer cells self-destruct. Did you know that all your cells are programmed to self-destruct if they turn into cancer? There's a gene there, the P53 gene. And what happens is, in the cancer cells, it gets switched off. Those are the ones that get away. The antioxidants help switch that back on, so they kill themselves. You know, they just go away. Olive extract, we have two more. Olive extract and coenzyme Q10. Olive extract. The Mediterranean diet, those people who eat a lot of, the olive oil, have the lowest incidence of heart disease and cancers anywhere in the world. Longest lifespan. And if you look at Greece, and particularly on the Crete, south of Greece, there the incidence of heart disease and cancer is 37 times that, or less than that in the United States. That's huge. So we should take a lesson from that. And if you look at the graph, it shows the people that have a lot more olive oil in their diets have lower incidence of heart disease and cancer. Here we are in the United States with very little olive oil. Well, the Usana scientists knew that olive oil and the ingredients, the polyphenol antioxidants in olive oil is important. So after 5 years of research, the Usana scientists were able to perfect the extraction process necessary to develop olive oil. And every daily dose of the mega antioxidants, every daily dose provides 30 milligrams of olive extract, of olive oil. Okay, well, where would that fit on this? If you're taking the daily dose of essentials, it brings you right out to here, equivalent to those people in the Mediterranean diet. And then if you take the Hepacil, you're getting an additional 45 milligrams. And you think the Hepacil is only for your liver? My goodness, we just showed about how it helps maintain heart health and immunological health. Powerful, the Hepacil. And the Hepacil has the curcumin in it as well, the turmeric extract. Okay, how do you prevent colon cancer?
Fiber.
Okay, fiber helps some. But where does fiber come from? Fruit and vegetables. What also goes in fruit and vegetables? Antioxidants and minerals.
We need some fiber.
The antioxidants and vitamins and minerals have been shown to help maintain colon health better than fiber ever has or ever will. Fiber is important to take. That's why we have Fiber G. It's one of the foods because it helps trap the fats and it also traps the cholesterol, helps the transit time. It also, most importantly, it blocks the sugar absorption. It blunts how quickly sugar gets into your system. So to help maintain glycemic health, the fiber is very important. But the antioxidants are very important for that. How about breast cancer? 1 out of 8 women get breast cancer sometime in their lifetime. So ladies, what do your doctors tell you to do to prevent breast cancer? Mammogram? Self-breast exam? So ladies, again, I'll ask, what do your doctors tell you to do to prevent breast cancer? Because mammogram is only final.
Just watch and self-exam.
Self-exam until you get breast cancer. Just keep examining breast until you get that cancer and think on my end.
Or remove it.
So is there something we can do to help reduce the risk of breast cancer? What can you do?
Exercise.
Exercise reduces the risk of breast cancer by 50%. Keeping a normal, healthy weight, losing weight, 50% reduction of breast cancer. It's huge. That's why, again, the reset foods, wait, scramble. Tom, did you have anything? How about this? In a study involving over 61,000 women, those consuming at least 10 grams of olive oil every day cut the risk of breast cancer in half. But women who consume 5 grams of other oils, such as corn or safflower oil, increase the risk to 69%. That's what we normally have. That's just one of many things. All right, well, we have, this is olive oil. We have olive extract. How much would be equivalent in the mega antioxidants? How much? There's 30 milligrams of olive extract in here. What's that equivalent to how many grams of oil? 30 milligrams of olive extract is equivalent to 60 grams of olive oil. 6 times the level that's shown to be beneficial. And in the Hepacil, another 45. Powerful. As a matter of fact, when I helped design Hepacil, I was thinking of my breast cancer patients. And also prostate health. So maintain breast health, and this goes for prostate, by the way, and for colon. All these supplements, antioxidants, nutrients, are all important. The heart, I mean, they all work together. There's none of them that work separately. And coenzyme Q10, that's the last one before I talk about my stories about my patients, which we're moving in. The coenzyme Q10 is a powerful vitamin antioxidant. It's critical to make the adenosine triphosphate, the ATP, the energy molecules, to run everything. Without ATP, you would be dead. You couldn't make one protein, you couldn't have one thought, nothing could happen. Couldn't move a muscle without ATP. Your heart uses a lot. This is an actual electron micrograph of mitochondria, where the ATP is produced. So when metabolism occurs, you have sugar, glucose, and oxygen come in. They bounce around in this Krebs cycle, and out comes the other end, comes ATP, the energy molecules, and carbon dioxide. Beautiful system. But it only works if you have coenzyme Q10 and alpha-lipoic acid, which is part of it. This is where it works. So when we're young, we have plenty of coenzyme Q10. We're bouncing off the walls, we have so much energy. But as we get older, from age 20 to age 80, it falls off by 50%. And so you get a little older, you get a little weaker, you get a little slower. Coenzyme Q10 is needed to help keep functioning your brain. Your brain starts to go. You start forgetting where you left your keys. Coenzyme Q10 is important for gum health, so your teeth start falling out. It's important for liver health, kidney health. It's important for skin health. Your skin starts to wrinkle faster. It's important for your heart. Your heart has a lot of mitochondria. You look under the microscope at heart cells, chock full of mitochondria, because it needs it burns through a lot of coenzyme Q10, because your heart's beating all the time. You deplete coenzyme Q10 from your heart, you end up with cardiomyopathy or congestive heart failure. Very important nutrient. We have coenzyme Q10. Coenzyme Q10 is 3 times more absorbable than any of the coenzyme Q10 that you can get. And so milligram for milligram, you're getting a better dose of that. It's effective. So you can help maintain heart health, brain health, skin health, liver health, kidney health, every single cell. There's not a cell that doesn't use coenzyme Q10. Here's the problem. #1 selling class of drugs in the world, statin drugs, reduce your coenzyme Q10 level. In my book, The Cholesterol Conspiracy, years ago, 10 years ago, I talked about how pretty soon the drug companies will start to be putting coenzyme Q10 with their drugs, and then they might start working. And then they'll start, but it will be due to the coenzyme Q10, not to the lowering of your cholesterol. The lowering your cholesterol, these statin drugs, cause fatigue because they deplete your coenzyme Q10 from your muscles. So you're weakened. They cause from your brain, amnesia, depression, difficulty thinking, insomnia, kidney and liver failure. That's why you have to have your liver enzymes checked every 6 months. Make sure it's not killing you. Oh, and look at this thing. The very thing that you want to help reduce against heart disease, congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy, the walls of your heart are getting weak. The incidence of congestive heart failure was stable throughout the 20th century, and until 1986, it started taking off. That's when statin drugs were introduced. Coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. There's a lot of symptoms that people that go unnoticed, unreported, that people don't even know, they don't even put it together, that this drug is causing that problem. And so how much do statin drugs work? Again, do not change your regimen based upon what I'm saying, but talk to your doctor. Use the information to talk to your doctor. Oh, don't worry about that, I'll say. You're fine. If you want to take a little coenzyme Q10, you're okay to take a little coenzyme Q10 to overcome the dose of it. Well, it doesn't work that way because it also suppresses other important nutrients in your cells. Furthermore, why are you taking statin drugs in the first place? You got to go back to that question. Oh, to lower my LDL cholesterol. Well, wait a second. We already had that discussion. Medications, actually, are the 3rd leading cause of death. Over 100,000 people die every year in the United States from taking medications. And I'm not here to bash medications. But I'm saying be aware of it. Although, be careful about those vitamins. It could hurt you if you don't know what you're doing. But here's a drug. How many people die every year in the United States from medications? Over 100,000. How many people die every year in the United States from taking supplements? 0. But you better be careful. Okay? So, but do they do any good? Yeah, sure. There was a meta-analysis of 97 double-blind studies that looked at just fish oil and statin drugs, just the two. Let's take the fish oil. The doctors didn't know what the patients were getting. The patients didn't know what they're getting. The green, the red pill or the blue pill, you know? So that's, and said, okay, how much does it help reduce the risk of heart disease? Well, they saw that statin drugs did reduce the risk of heart disease, from death from heart, this is death from heart disease, by 13%. But fish oil did it by 23%. Statin drugs had side effects, fish oil had none. Statin drugs cost dollars a day, fish oil, pennies a day. Based upon these 97 double-blind placebo-controlled studies, which one wins? Well, we can make a lot more money on the statin drugs. And that's what it's all about, believe it or not. It's exactly what it's about. You don't believe it? Then, well, I can't help you if you don't believe it. But it does.
Don't believe it, you die.
And the statin drugs did not bring that number about through the lowering of LDL cholesterol. It did it only because they slightly reduced the oxidation of the LDL. That's the bigger message. And I hope you got that.